Okay, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order of the Jackson County Board of Commissioners. Today, October the 19th, 2021. First item of business is the approval of the agenda, and I do have an addition I would like to offer today under new business. We'll have item 4 will become 4A, and then we'll add an item. I'll tell you what, we can just call that 5 since there's nothing else below it. Just forget that. Go with 4 is going to be drug-free workplace, and then item 5 will be remarks by our Register of Deeds, Mr. Joe Hamilton, who wants to make a presentation to the board. So we'll add Register of Deeds to item 5. Any other additions today? Hearing none, then do I have a motion that we approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any question or discussion? If not, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next is the approval of our minutes. We have one set of minutes from our October the 5th meeting. After having had a chance to review those in advance, just distributed by the clerk. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? All in favor of the approval of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Administrative reports. Today, I will offer just a brief comment, and I'll have more to say at a later time. But I did participate as the county's representative with VIA Health on the County Commissioner Advisory Board. We had a meeting last week. It was a Zoom meeting. And, you know, mental health is one of those topics that over just my tenure here with the county over the last 20 years, I can tell you that mental health has changed so many times in so many ways. And we're evolving again into sort of a new era of service delivery. And we have what started out as a small 7-county catchment area, Smoky. Then it's expanded and expanded, and so we're expanding again. VIA is now taking in counties that once belonged to what was called Cardinal. And so our service area extends now all the way down to the middle part of the state. So there's 7 other counties that are coming in, and so it's going to be a huge. So we sat down at this last meeting, and the attorney for VIA presented the resolution to bring those counties from the Cardinal system into the VIA system, how that we would establish a new board of directors. And I like the approach because it's going to be a little bit different setup. Instead of having the way we have been with the main VIA board and then a advisory board of county commissioners, we are now going to have regional boards. So they've divided the larger service area now into regional districts. So we now go back to the 7 counties, Haywood West as our regional district. So it gives us a little bit more leverage and ability to hone in on services here in just the 7 area, as opposed to being part of a discussion at a much bigger level for a huge district. So I really like that, and we're going to be asked to formalize and to make some appointments, 1 county commissioner and then 1 other individual to represent Jackson County on this board. And it could be another county commissioner, or it could be someone in our community who meets certain criteria that they feel like are important stakeholders in this whole process. So they're sending out copies of the legislation. I know probably Heather's already got it, and or the resolution, and we'll work in the days ahead to try to get that on our agenda as we set up this process of appointing these new members and establishing this service delivery. So that I'll reported that today, and with that I'll move on to Commissioner Deeks.
Mr. Adams and myself and Ms. Woody, our chairman, we were all to some degree involved in this weekend trying to help the mountain projects with the project they had going on. And, they were very thankful for that and got some stuff done. I'm not gonna mention what the project was. A lot of times we talk about providing affordable housing. We may forget sometimes that we've got some houses that people live in that's really aren't decent to live in. And that's what Mountain Projects was doing with the contractor and whatever, trying to make a house where people were living more livable and safe. It really just wasn't even a safe place to live. So thank y'all. And I thought that's a good thing we did this project. It goes on. It's going on with Kingsley. We just sometimes don't see it.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Woody?
Well, just to piggyback on that, it was the Hands on Jackson Day last Thursday, and there were over 200 volunteers in our community that went out. And I want to especially give a thanks to Lowe's and Harrah's and some of the other businesses, Ben Granning, BH Granning Landscaping. I know I'm leaving some businesses out, but it was wonderful to see how business people in our community gave back that day. And it was just helping our citizens, and it's just wonderful to see that happen.
So thank you, Commissioner Woody. Commissioner Jones?
No report today.
Commissioner Striblin? No report either. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Next, we'll hear from our county manager, Mr. Adams.
Yes, sir. Just a brief report today. Enclosed in your packet in the manager's summary, you can see that we do have our standard September 2021 zoning and building permit little schedule. You can see that the planning department issued 3 commercial zoning permits in the month of September, and code enforcement issued 1 commercial permit and 3 renovation addition permits in the month of September. Next item is just let the board know that we are proceeding forward with our salary survey with Evergreen Solutions, and let the board know that currently right now where we're at in this process is that all of our employees and our supervisors have completed the job assessment tools, as this is something where the employees go through. We've tried to get input from all employees in regards to what they believe their job functions are. Of course, that is monitored and reviewed by their supervisors. And then it just goes up onto the chain of command all the way to the county manager's office. So that has been done. We've been working on that for the last couple of months. And so currently right now, Evergreen Solutions are starting the survey process. So they will be going out and surveying regionally, and just so that we'll get salary comparisons. And so in the month of November, what we should have is we should have a proposed classification and pay plan presented to management team. We will need to review that, and hopefully in the month of December, we'll be able to bring that information back to the board. Just a reminder to the board, we did put aside some funds this year in this year's budget and for implementation. We don't know what that's going to look like. That is the purpose of this planning process, and for me a bit to come back and present to the board. I was hoping to have this to you in November. We just ran into a couple of snags. So ultimately, just if you will, plan on just having multiple discussions in December in regards to this issue. Next item is just update on the construction projects. Let me scroll down. I do have some pictures in there for the Animal Rescue Center. The project is 35% complete. Again, the rain that we've seen just significantly delayed the project. We are currently working on the main retaining wall. I wanted you to just look at the pictures that's in your packets. If you recall, we had some discussions earlier in this process about how come we're limiting some of the classes, and things of that nature. Well, I believe if you take a look at these pictures, you'll see that ultimately the size of that large retaining wall that's on the back side of that property, if you look right here where I'm pointing, that is where to the right of that mound of dirt is actually where the Green Energy Park operations are. And so ultimately, until that retaining wall is built up and then the dirt gets backfilled, this is a construction site that is dangerous. And so we generally do need to limit access to this property until we can get basically that retaining wall built. And then once they get the retaining wall, we still have storm sewer all through that facility and through that area. So those are the types of things that have to be completed before we can even begin opening up to the public. The building package has been delivered to the site. So Commissioner Woody, that as you all know, she can see some of the site from her house. You'll actually start seeing the building go vertical. They should start working on that. They should start working on that in the next week, and so you should be able to see that. And then there are just other pictures, and also the architect's just monthly review that's out there. One of the things is just noting, the architect is really paying attention to the water flow that's on this concrete pad. And so a couple of things that we're doing, if you recall, we were having polished concrete in a lot of this facility. If you recall the debate about the epoxy versus polished concrete. And so we're still attempting to stay with the polished concrete. The architect is wanting to make sure that the water obviously flows correctly off of this facility, especially in the cleaning areas. And so what we're allowing them to do is grind down the actual slab itself. And ultimately, what we're going to have is a polished aggregate look. I've spent quite a bit of time making sure. There's a current retail store right now. If you've been into, they've got an aggregate look too, but it's spotty, and I'm telling you, it's not going to look like that. We've spent a lot of time. It's going to be even across the board, and actually people pay for this look. And so
I've heard this a new thing.
and so
Very popular.
and if they can actually, obviously do this, so this will be what we'll have in the main meeting room and the lobby area and so forth. So it'll still be a polished concrete. It's just you'll have that aggregate. And the main reason is we're wanting to make sure that obviously everything flows correctly and that the concrete is the leveling is correct.
Right.
And so we're just working on that at this point. Next item. Sure. Let me scroll back. Apologize for everybody at home. So the next item is the Fairview Press Box. Everything's been signed. We've Press Box concessions area. The contract's been signed. The contractor, we've had a pre-construction meeting with a contractor. They're slated to start November 8th. They'll be out on site demolishing the facility itself. And then we'll proceed forward in regards to obviously demolishing and repairing that. We are, Mr. Ellis, our recreation director, is working closely with the nonprofit groups, the Little League groups, and the football group to make sure that we coincide with their schedules. So football season will be over. They're actually going to get a temporary storage unit out in the parking lot of Fairview so they can move. They're the only ones really storing anything in that building at this point. And so just also a reminder, we're eventually getting to 3 storage containers out there permanently that the nonprofits will have access for long-term storage versus storing inside the concession area. So what that's done is it's allowed us to have, we didn't have to build as big a space coming back on the second floor, and then it's going to give the nonprofits a lot more storage out in that area versus trying to work with a closet or two that's upstairs in that.
Be more secure.
I'm sorry?
Be more secure.
Secure, and it'll also be just a lot more space. And so we'll start seeing work out there. We're still working on, if you recall, we're trying to decide whether or not we want to install that water line via the contractor. So the contractor was willing to proceed forward and not. We didn't pull the trigger on the alternate at this point. If you recall, that alternate was over $60,000 to run a new 2-inch line to that facility. We're currently just testing the water flow out there, and we're also having our maintenance people go look at it. And we're just going to try to see if there's alternative ways to actually provide water to that site versus the contractual amount. But at the end of the day, if we're not able to do so, we still can go back. You basically budgeted those funds, and we can go back and exercise that alternate if we need to. And then the final thing is just, again, the request for qualifications for the design of this facility, the court facilities and admin facility and jail facility. That has been advertised. We received 6 responses from architectural firms. I pulled together an interview team that's consisted of the stakeholders. Stakeholders meaning the people in this facility, everywhere from our Superior Court judge to our Chief District Court judge to the DA's office, probation, and so forth. We're going through an interview process at this point. And once that interview process is done, I'll take the the rest of the month of October and November to just follow through and vet whoever the top ranked architect firms are. And then hopefully I'll be back in sometime either late November or December and make a recommendation to the board as far as the most qualified or the best fit for Jackson County.
Okay.
And that's all I have, sir.
Any questions for the manager?
Do have one question
Okay,
that
Commissioner Whittle.
occurred. This has been a while back,
Mhm.
Mr. Adams, but we had a request from DSS and their child custody enforcement about a possible meeting room for mediation here that would really facilitate their being able to work with families that are involved in the court.
Mhm.
Is there going to be a possibility of a space like that with our renovation? Or-
Yeah, we can, when we go through and we'll look at all needs. Yes,
Great.
that'll be
Oh, good.
part of the larger picture. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't see anyone that signed up online to offer public comment, and I don't see anyone here in the audience that is indicating they're wanting to speak. So we will move on to the consent agenda. First item is the finance report for September 2021. We'll recognize Ms. Fox, our finance director.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
I'll go over the highlights for the month of September. The general fund revenues collected to date is $20,487,369. That's 28.16% of budget. It's 3.16% over the average for this time. The general fund expenditures to date is $16,946,653. That's 24.22% of budget, so it's right on target for the year. The revenues at this point are $3,540,717 more than the expenditures. The ad valorem taxes collected are at 39.84% of budget at $14,641,889. Motor vehicle taxes collected $301,736. That's 20.54% of budget. The prior year taxes collected $232,387. That's 25.81% of budget. We received the sales and use tax distribution for the month of September, which represented June sales. That amount was $1,871,632. It's 16.51% more than we received last September. The Article 46 distribution was $214,802. And the collections for the fiscal year ending June 30th were 21.06% higher than the previous fiscal year. And the July sales we got in this month are 20.74% more than they were last year.
24.
20.74%.
20.7.
Yeah. So the increase is continuing at this point.
So the 21.06% is that an average of the fiscal year?
The entire year, yes. Above the previous fiscal
Correct.
year.
That's amazing.
Correct.
The landfill disposal fees collected, $702,032. That's 31.85% of budget. And the prior year landfill disposal fees was $18,177. It's 33.05% of budget. The growth revenues we're tracking, we're still seeing increases in environmental health above budget and register of deeds. The general fund contingency balance at the end of September was $1,570,056. I'd be glad to answer any questions on the report.
Any questions about the finance report? If not, then we'll hear from Ms. Fox on item 2, the budget ordinance amendments. I believe there's 2 of them.
There are. The first one is general fund amendment. It's an increase of $82,291.18. That comes from a WNC Health Mini Grant, $5,000, Adult Protective Services, Child Protective Services for COVID, $7,092. Links, $46,711. The Dogwood Trust for a foster care grant that was granted to DSS, $14,025. Insurance settlement for a total vehicle, $6,963.18. And fund balance, $2,500. That was an agent donation that was received in June to bring it forward. The next amendment is for the Conservation Preservation Fund. The amount's $200,000 coming from fund balance to purchase apprentice property in Cullowhee.
Any questions about these 2 budget ordinance amendments? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Fox, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, for item 3, is the tax collector and refund reports for September 2021. We recognize Ms. Brandy Henson, our tax collector.
Hey, good afternoon. Okay, for September, the 2021 taxes collected for the county were $4,267,273. The delinquent taxes collected were $150,882. The total deposited for the month was $4,681,571.17. And also for the month of September, there were refunds of $2,106.54, overpayment refunds of $4,587.26, and releases of $25,636.61. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Henson?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we have now heard all 3 items on the consent agenda: the finance report, the budget ordinance amendments, and the tax collector and refund reports. Having heard them, is there a motion to approve all 3 at once?
Yes, I like it, motion.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Stribling,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Deeds,
Yes.
Chairman McMahon.
Yes, motion carries.
Oh, okay.
Okay, next is our new business. We're going to have item 4, drug-free workplace and substance abuse policy update. Recognize Ms. Kathleen Breedlove, our Human Resource Director.
Good afternoon. I'm here to present you a rewrite of the drug-free workplace policy that has been reviewed by our drug testing vendor and the NCACC risk manager. Now, I recommend retitling the policy to read drug-free workplace and substance abuse policy. The substance abuse component of the policy now provides details about the testing process, the medical review officer's role in the review of non-negative results, and the employee's right to retest of the initial specimen at their expense, when the county may conduct an investigation, and consequences of violations. Additionally, an employee charged with a violation of any criminal or drug or alcohol statute would be required to report the charge to the Human Resources Office on the first business day or scheduled workday, whichever occurs first, following the filing of the charge. This is to ensure the HR director will be able to determine the work status of the employee in conjunction with the county manager. The previous drug-free workplace agreement and acknowledgement form signed by the employees will now be combined into one document. It is recommended the Jackson County Board of Commissioners approve the updated drug-free workplace and substance abuse policy for inclusion in the Human Resources Manual.
Okay. We've heard the request from staff, and likewise, this is an item you'll remember that we reviewed in our work session previously. Are there any additional questions for Ms. Breedlove? Okay, hearing none then, is there a motion that we amend this policy and adopt it as presented?
I move that we accept this policy as amended.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any question or discussion now about the motion? Hearing none then, Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Deeds?
Yes.
Commissioner Woody?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Stribling?
Yes.
Chairman McMahon?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
So much for the hard work on this. Next is item 5, an opportunity to hear from our Register of Deeds, Mr. Joe Hamilton. I want to ask Joe to come forward. I think Chandra Sims has some information to hand out to the board members while Joe's getting to the podium. Ma'am?
Thank you.
Also like to say in attendance with Joe today is his wife, Barbara Hamilton, a town board member from Silva. Joe, Barbara, it's good to have both of you here with us. Thank you. Mr. Hamilton, the floor is yours, sir. Welcome.
Well, thank you, sir. Folks, I'm gonna be up front with you. This has been tough trying to make up my mind. Should I go or should I stay? I have prayed about this. I have lost sleep about this. But thank God she has helped me along the way.
Hey.
And I went to Darlene last January, February. Darlene, I think I'll retire. She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Well, I think the time has come for me to think about retiring." So I think about it, Joe. I thought about it for about 2 weeks and I went back. I said, "Darlene, I've changed my mind." She said, "I knew you would. I want to wait till later on." So as the days and weeks and months went by, I thought, I've got to get serious about this. I'm ready. And I said, well, went back to Darlene and said, well, let's get the papers rolling. I said, wait a minute, I thought I could come up here and say, Darlene, write me a check and let me hit the road. I'm out of here. She said, no, it's not that easy. I said, and boy, did I find out it's not that easy. Thanks to Ms. Breedlove back here. That paperwork, holy cow. And she's been so grateful. She's been so nice to me to get these papers. Almost every morning, hey, I got something else in the mail here. Statement, she wants me to sign here and sign there. Well, she's done me good, I'll tell you. I appreciate what she's done for me. But over the years, I've got to tell you, I enjoyed my service in the driver's license office and the register of deeds office. Driver's license, that was many, many years ago, and I've got to tell you just a few things, and I'll try to keep this short, but I may get out of hand and linger off here to the right.
If you do, we'll call the bailiff in.
Okay. Became driver's license examiner, and I never dreamed certain things would start taking place. I started having wrecks in the parking lot. These young people are scared to death, they couldn't get out of the parking lot hitting cars. And go downtown, they'd hit cars. And Barbara said, that makes about 20 cars. It's not real serious wrecks, but Barbara kept count on them all. She lost it. But the one girl, here's a good example. One girl, a young girl, said, was taking the road test, and I said, her name was Susan. I just want her fake names, I guess. I said, Susan, you've got to slow down. Okay, Mr. Hamilton, okay. Susan, you've got to slow down. There's a stop sign right there. Oh, Mr. Hamilton, I see the stop sign. Bam! Knocks the stop sign down. She said, please don't tell my daddy. I said, yeah, okay. It gets a little better. This man and woman come in one day and his man said, my wife wants to take the driver's license test. I said, well, let's go. So go on the road test, coming back, and I thought, what's the deal with this woman? She said, you've got to help me inside and let me sit down real quick. I said, well, okay. Get upstairs, go in. He said, honey, come here. Husband, what's the matter? The baby's coming. He said, what? The baby's coming? And she said, yes. So I get on the phone, call and come EMS, and they come up and pick her up, and going out the door, Mr. Hamilton. I said, did I pass? I said, yes, you passed. I said, come back later on, I'll take the picture. About a month later, here she comes with the baby. I said, I hope she don't name the baby after me. But things like that, I enjoyed my job the whole time and working. One more thing, and up in Little Canada, there's a couple that married up there, and they came to see me and said, Mr. Hamilton, we got married, but we promised each other we want a large family. And I had this young man with him. He said he has finished driver's ed. Said he's ready to take his road test. Took road test and passed. And said no. Said we'll be back to see you later on. Said hey, 17 people in my family, kids, 17 kids in that family. And over the years, I issued license to every one of them before I got out of the driver's license business. I've met so many people over the years, and I loved every bit of it. And to this day, I go out to Walmart or someplace, and Mr. Hamilton, you gave me my first driver's license. Do you remember me? Here stands this big old man. He's got a baby. I wish I could remember everybody's name, but that's impossible. You know, I pretend, oh yeah, I remember you. You know, to do things like that. But I'm leaving, but I don't want to leave. It's been so good. Here's one of my employees. Hey, I have kept the same employees for 25 years. They've been there for me. And I appreciate Shauna and the other three downstairs working at the moment, but they've been super for me. Sometimes I say, Shauna, you remember, Joe, I've done that 2 weeks ago. Well, thank you, something, you know. It's been super. And but like I say, I'm ready to go. I'm going to go up there and sign a few more letters and things to send to Raleigh. Everything goes to Raleigh, evidently. They have to approve it down in Raleigh, but that's okay. I'm not backing out on this time. I'm going to go through the whole mess. And Barbara said, Joe, I've got a lot of things you can do at the house. She's already got the list, so that's okay.
The honeydew list.
Honeydew list. But that's my speech, I guess. But I appreciate what everybody's. Last time I hesitated coming back this night because last time I was up here, you folks pulled a good joke on me. I found out county manager was in charge. He did it. Put the blame on him. But I think I'm through for you. Want to talk to Shonda's next, isn't she?
No, you're it today. Joe, I just wanted to say, and Joe, for the record, Joe has presented the Board of Commissioners, the county, with a letter that's dated today, October the 19th. And after having served 23 years as our Register of Deeds, he has decided it's time to retire and to go and enjoy retirement. And so his effective last date will be October 31st, 2021, and that's the day that he'll be resigning as Register of Deeds, which will create a vacancy. And so we'll move forward with that. And in just a minute, I want to ask Heather Baker to just sort of describe for us and go over for the board's sake, since he is presenting us this official letter today stating his intentions to resign on October 31st and enter retirement early before the term of office expires. Heather, in a few minutes, is going to highlight for the board what the statutes say about how his office will function in the days ahead in his absence, and also what the process is for selecting a replacement on an interim basis to serve in that capacity as an appointed register of deeds until the time of the election. And I'll go over all those details, but I want to first give the board members an opportunity to maybe offer some comments or ask you a bunch of questions here on the last time at the podium for us. But Joe, I just want to say over the last 20-some years I've worked with you, how much I've appreciated your friendship, appreciated the strong leadership that you've offered this county as the Registrar of Deeds. And when I think of someone that personifies the term public servant, I think of you, Joe.
Well, thank you.
The people of this county have been served well, and we could never have asked for anybody to done a better job than you've done. And I just thank you and applaud your efforts. Wish you the best in retirement, and look forward to seeing you out here on the street as private citizen Joe, enjoying retirement.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.
Any other thoughts or comments from the board members?
Yeah.
Commissioner Deeds?
Joe, I also appreciate all you've done. I know the citizens of this county appreciates it. What I appreciate more than anything is the type of fella you are and how you've been. And we all know when we look at you, we're looking at a good person.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate your service in the Marines, I believe it was. I know that's something you're very proud of, and that's something that we want to thank you for also. The way you and your wife work together for different causes is it's something we can all look at and follow as an example. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And
Mr. Woody, go ahead.
I thought maybe we were going this way. I too appreciate all that you've done for our community, and and you do serve in many ways besides your position, and that means a lot. I think, like Chairman McMahon said, that's the example of a civil servant. You certainly serve well, and I want to personally thank you for failing our daughter Hannah when she had her first driving, her driver license test, because she was 16 and went down on her birthday and thought she was going to set the world on fire with her car. And fortunately, she failed. And so her dad said, all right, that shows you need to do some work. Yeah. And thank you for that, because she did.
Mr. Jones?
Just want to personally thank you as well, Joe. When I did my test drive, you were so gentle when you told me to slow down, that it was raining, we were on a gravel road, and the front, I was going so fast, not terribly fast, but it was splashing the water on the windshield, and you so gently said, now, Mr. Jones, if when water splashes up on the front from the front part of your car, it's a good time to slow down. and I slowed down. And I just want to thank you, and really personally thank you for the multiple conversations we've had, and the guidance and advice you've given me over the decades. I thank you truly.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Hamilton, I'm sorry, I'm just now getting to meet you. I met you a long time ago. Seems like you got a super good character. Good mind, body, and soul.
Well, thank you.
And you're kind of like me here, because you got a good wife, and you can't do without her, can you?
No.
Can't do without mine either.
No.
They are a team.
Yep.
Hey, 58 years. 58 years.
58.
Putting up with each other.
Wow.
Enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Heather, if you would, share with us a little bit about the process and what happens after October 31st, when on November the 1st, when Joe Hamilton is no longer our registered deeds. What happens?
Well, certainly on November, excuse me, on November 1st, once vacancy is created, as long as Mr. Hamilton, prior to his vacancy, has appointed an assistant or deputy register of deeds, then everything continues as it has been, and they continue working under his bond until until an appointment is made. And fortunately, Mr. Hamilton has appointed all of his staff, Chandra, as well as Lois and Jennifer and Stephanie, his entire staff as Deputy Register of Deeds. And that has been filed, so they will all continue in their capacity and can continue to serve under his bond. So nothing will change as far as daily operations.
The public can still come in and register deeds and do all the functions of the registered deeds office uninterrupted.
That's correct.
And what about the replacement process as defined by statute?
Well, the statute's clear on that as well. So once a vacancy is created, it's this Board of Commissioners, that appoints an interim, as you said, a replacement until the election is held. But they must do that if, as Mr. Hamilton was, elected as the nominee of a political party, then that party must be involved in the process. And if they have 30 days from the date of vacancy to make a recommendation, and if they do that, then this board shall take that recommendation.
So effective November 1st, the Democrat Party will have 30 days to have an executive committee meeting, select a nominee to present to this Board of Commissioners to choose as the interim replacement until the next election.
That's correct.
And if they don't submit a name within 30 days, then the board would have the discretion to choose whomever we please.
Correct.
Okay. So that's sort of the process. I wanted Heather to sort of define that and let folks in the community and the county know that they'll still be able to transact at the Register of Deeds office. Things will continue. Chandra and the staff will continue to process all those requests as they have, and we'll work with the leadership of the Democratic Party to secure a name for the vacancy, to fill the vacancy with until this next election cycle, which is next year. So it'll be here before we know it. Any other comments or questions? Anything else from the board about this? We do have, at this point, our press conference. Let's see. I don't have the ability to see who's on the screen. Looks like Beth. Beth.
Yeah. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Beth. Okay, and I don't see anyone else from the press corps here in the room, so we do have need for closed session. Mr. Adams, what was the items you?
Yes, sir. It'll be under legal and also real property.
Okay, so that legal 143-318A3 and real property 143-318-11A5. Do I have a motion to go into closed session concerning those two items?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Okay. All right. We are now back in session, and I will report no action taken in closed session except for the approval of the closed session minutes. No other business to come before this board. I'll entertain a motion then to adjourn. Is there one to be made? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all.